Hey, it's me, Rome, from the Noble Attempt. Hope you're doing well, 'cause I'm not. Hey, it's me, Rome, from the Noble Attempt. I'm losing my mind. See?
La que baila con ganas.
It's coming back. Never mind. It's coming back. I'm good. Cumbia came on. I'm good.
La que baila con ganas.
All right. Yo, hello everybody.
Yo.
Welcome back to the Noble Attempt. It is I, Rome, with a special guest today, my brother Karl. What's up, Karl?
What's up? Hi.
Hey. We're actually in the same house, but we're doing a Zoom call for consistency.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked about it yesterday. Everybody struggles with this, but can you introduce yourself to the world, this world? Just real quick about yourself for us to get.
Oh yeah. I'm Carl. I'm from the Philippines, and by profession, I'm a filmmaker. And just like everyone else, I love doing a lot of things, man. Yeah.
So I did a talk with my sister last week. She started a little podcast too.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Sage. And she did a really nice intro for me, and she had it written out. And so I thought maybe I'll try that this time, because the last few times I've just been like, this is my friend, and they're cool, like. So I wrote a little intro. I'm gonna read my little intro.
Let me see it.
At this point in my life, I consider myself blessed, and that many of the people close to me happen to be people I came up with and have known for many years. Whether by luck or divine ordinance, our paths have winded, split, and rejoined. And no matter the time apart or distance between us, our spiritual values have grown parallel, and we remain aligned and our relationships rich. For this, I feel complete, with no need to seek new friends or relationships. That being said, I'm always open, and the path of life always provides. Karl is a person I only met recently through my partner, Kat, but has transformed from being a tag-along sort of acquaintance into one of my most valued, trusted friends, someone I consider family, my brother, uncle to my child, Tito Karlito, the kindest, most generous, thought-provoking man in the world. A deep thinker, philosopher, an artist, a mystic, transcendental human being. I'm truly honored to welcome my brother Karl to the Noble Attempt.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Woo!
So let's dive in.
Yeah.
Karl we've been staying with Karl for a while, and he's really been kind of integral to like developing what this entity, the Noble Attempt, will be. We've a lot of discussion just about the energy around it, what it could be, what it might be, what it is. So I like to ask this question to help me and I guess us define this even further. The Noble Attempt for you, what is the Noble Attempt?
The noble attempt is, I think, the noble attempt is somehow similar to like some sort of a spiritual journey, because I think the noble attempt is actually very simple, but it's hard to do. So we have to, find our own ways to see that and to, I don't know, to give that same frequency to other people based on experience, conversations, just speaking from the heart, which we rarely do. We all have this ego and all of that. But once we open our heart, I think that's when it starts
Flowing.
Easier said than done, dude. I have to admit.
Huh?
Easier said than done.
Right. That's why we're here, man. That's why we're diving in. I'm learning.
Constantly learning.
It really takes work and conscious effort.
May I ask you also how you came up with this? How did this idea?
The noble attempt. I started with a conversation when we were in the province in Mindoro, around the time the lockdown hit. I started being a little more in contact with people back home, back in Seattle. I talked to my brother Chang for a long time on the phone, and it was just a rich conversation with, laughs and stories and criticism and all the things. And the next few days, it just marinated, and I started to feel like, man, I think we could share some of this to the world in whatever way, whoever needs it or whoever it might reach. And it
I mean,
slowly,
especially now, right?
especially now. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a whole flood of content and people, at least hopefully creating like more heart-centered content that's like actually how are we going to better humanity or each other or connect, because everyone needs connection. And right now is a time where, our society already struggle with being authentic and connection. Now with this physical divide, we really I think are craving that at a level we never have before, which maybe is a positive thing. Because it will push some people that maybe wouldn't have opened themselves to that, to do that, whether it's through the internet or, real life. But I think a lot more commonly now it's the internet. So I'm grateful for these connections now.
True.
These cyber connections, because you can really feel powerful connections through them. So yeah, that's basically how it started. Right. And then now we're getting it going with you. You kind of helped me get the momentum going. I mean, Karl's in video and just a creative all in general. So like he's like just helped me figure stuff out a lot with like equipment or ideas or logos, all these things, right? And it's been really helpful to have like
same always an exchange.
Yeah, for sure. So Karl just had his birthday 2 days ago.
I also benefit from that. Yeah.
Happy birthday. I broke down his numerology. Oh yeah, there it goes.
Yeah. Very beautiful, man.
You made me shy, man. Like, but I broke down his numerology, and Karl, from when you break down a birthday, his birthday is 12/18. What was it? 12/18.
1986.
1986, which broken down numerologically is a 9. Right. Which I like to look at the numbers, and a 9 represents a lot of things. And from my understanding of it, it's a lot about it's the giving. You know what I mean? Like in a 69, the 9 is the giver. And 9 is just giving. 9 is a giving, very giving number. And we also broke down that 9 is the only number that no matter what you do to it mathematically, it always stays a 9. So if you multiply 9 by 5, it turns to a 45, which is a 9. If you do it by 1,000,000, it's always a 9, which I think is an interesting concept. If you apply that to a human, you know what I mean? So whatever you do to a 9, whatever life flips on a 9, it still remains a 9.
Right. And also, I believe in that because personally, I believe that whoever created us is a mathematician. He knows all of this.
Yeah. Formulaic with the shit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the noble attempt. But that's a good thing about this conversation is because you can talk about a lot of different aspects of life. You can talk to musicians, and we all have our own interpretations of it.
Sure.
Like how it is like to really live our life.
Yeah, man. I mean, so we, like I said, we've been staying with Karl for like over a month now. We were in transit and got caught up in Manila to do some like bureaucratic stuff, and they've just Karl and John, his partner, welcomed us in their home. Like I said, it's like Uncle, Tito and Tita to my baby Lumen. She's been really amazing for her to, have these friends and these people who really care about her and watch her grow with us. It's been a special time. Really special time. So yeah, it's grateful for that. Let's move into some stuff we always talk, man. We're smoking cigs and drinking coffee. We just dive into these conversations. So some of the things that have come up, one of them is like, actually, this isn't maybe something we specifically talked about, but something I've noticed with you is that you tend to you have a life with experiences for sure, and that shows through, but you also bring a level of like objectivity, like you stay objective with how you observe yourself and your interactions. You never seem to be too attached to your ideas, which I think is really I mean, for me, it's always hell because I go hard. When I have an opinion, that's it. You know what I mean? I might change my mind tomorrow, but when I have it, that's it. So I think something I learned from you and something I'm working on in general is to just come at situations a little more objectively. So like, what's up with that? Like, how, do you know that about yourself, or like, how do you bring that into play in your life and your conversations?
Well, okay. Here we go. I think my greatest teacher, I should say, throughout my life, was death. Death. I mean, I don't want to expound, but it's been a tragedy for the past 30 years, like my family. But through that, I did learn a lot of things, and I realized that also death is a great teacher. And I think we want to expound later on that because I really love the topic
Of death or objectivity?
Well, I came to that kind of thinking because of how I encountered death. Because there's a lot of uncertainties that you're sure about, and then you end up not knowing, like, wait, what? It doesn't answer a question, but the questions get bigger and bigger, and then you realize that it's too soon for you to impose your thoughts on something that you haven't delved into yet. So you have this like a prejudice, and each day I try to like remove that from me. I do my best. It's always a struggle, man. As long as we know that it's the right path, we do our best. In spite of, it doesn't matter if it comes out like transcendental or groundbreaking experience. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So yeah, wait, objectivity. How do I stay objective? Because yeah, I do believe in that everyone, each and everyone has their own like opinion, right? But there's truth in that. I believe his truth will somehow reflect on my life one way, because we're all humans, right? So I do my best to understand, especially those people that I do not agree with. Because when you shut down you put a wall, you stop growing.
Yeah.
It's just your ego like piling up.
So we've talked about this before, though. What's the balance, though? Because I'm with that. I like to use those scenarios where I might be engaging with a person who I don't necessarily agree with. I find value in that. But I also don't want to spend too much time with them. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to put myself through that test too much.
Of course,
it can get exhausting. So it's like, because we do grow from like, right, being around different perspectives or things that maybe trigger us or make us, get at us under our skin. There's something to learn there, something very valuable, right? But sometimes you just want to chill and build with like-minded people or people who you share a little more with. So I mean, you always bring it up like that's like a hobby. Is like, let's talk to these people who trigger us. Like, I don't know, man. I want to be
okay. I think I understand now what you're saying, but I think it's based on my experience. If I become like if I become objective, there are more things that I absorb more information. Like for example, there's this guy in school that everyone's like, oh, you hang out with a cocky guy. And I was the only one hanging out with him. I hang out with other guys, and then they're wondering, why do I hang out with this guy? And I was like, well, we somehow connect. And after a year, he's now friends to everyone. But he did give that kind of vibe, like a dark, kind of strong, dark energy that people are like, what's that? And it's, diba? And I think it's because I gave him a chance to know him, to experience him, like his ideals, that comes with his experience. I learned from him, and I feel connected to him, and I don't want to shut that down. But if he starts like getting like this, and like that, you as a friend just have to listen to him. And sometimes it transforms him also.
Yeah.
Because someone listened to him while everyone's judging him from afar.
Right.
So those are the opportunities that I don't want to miss. That's why I want to keep my prejudgment down as much as possible.
Yeah.
so that I will fully, absorb that person. So I had a deeper understanding, because I believe that, okay, medyo I'm going ADHD now. Uh, I believe I've read somewhere that in the bottom line of every, like, depression, anger, loneliness, if you look into it in the root of that problem, what do you think will you find?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I would say fear.
Okay, there's fear, but go deeper. Why do you
Deeper.
fear?
So you said depression, anger, and sadness, loneliness.
All stem from, okay, this is just my personal,
Tell
but I'm
me.
saying love, dude, love. Even the lack of it. But it's bottom line, love, dude.
Hmm.
And we sacrifice that thing little by little by, through this stuff that we think we need in our life.
Right.
But if you really look into it, although it's difficult, goes down to, like, was I loved when I was a kid? Like that? Kasi, okay, I'm telling, I have anxiety. Right now, I'm currently taking medications, and through my therapy, all we ever did was look back, investigate about the root of this loneliness that you can carry even until you die.
A lot of people
And
do.
I think the noble attempt is to find meaning in that experience.
But once you find meaning, because I know this about certain therapies, like I think it is helpful from my experience to go back and see, where is this coming from? Something that's presenting itself now. Where is it coming from? And a lot of times I do think it's from childhood or parents or experience
Yes.
with things like that. When do you stop? Do you ever stop and, like, shift focus forward or more presently to, like, okay, seen those things, or is that always something to revisit? Because at some point you want to, like, I don't know, like, feel it, move it around, internalize it, whatever, and free it, and then live your life now. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal, right? Is to get back to the present and recognizing that you are, like, here and healthy and so much potential. You know what I mean?
That's the beauty of it, dude. There's no formula to it.
Yeah.
We all have our own ways around it. I cannot say now you should stop when it is come. No, I will not limit your experience.
Yeah.
It will be you yourself who will tell yourself now, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm gonna move on to the next one.
Sure. Yeah.
But so far I just keep absorbing pa. Parang
Yeah.
ganun. Haven't established yet anything.
I think that's wise, man. Go at your own pace. Go at your own
but
pace.
I see that I am also learning more when you, like, give time to reflect about this.
You mean, like, currently? Yeah.
Yes.
But maybe because you gave yourself that time to do your process on your terms. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that it's like something really, if you're being methodical about it and going through it without trying to rush to, like, the feel good or rush to anything, and just kind of being with what is, back to the objectivity, like just being with what is and keep being with what is and keep eventually, just by law of nature, right? Things are gonna different things are gonna start flowing.
And it's up to you which part do you absorb, which ones do you, like, stay there.
Let go of.
Still up to you. It's like my friend's term is called, you eat the meat but you spit the bones. You dissect this information that would be helpful to you.
Gulai, I'll be on the vegetables.
Sorry, man. Yeah. Okay, you eat the fruit but you spit the seed.
All right. I'm with that.
So that's how you do with information. You I think based on my that's how you should just don't take it like what's our term?
Blindly, like, don't just blindly
accept. Yeah. Because especially the TV, oh my God, you can sit all day in front of the TV. Just diba? Yeah, and we're losing touch of ourselves because of the
consumption.
Yeah,
I think even for, like, sharp people, when you place yourself in this consumption state, like, it's hard not to be influenced.
Everyone, even the enlightened people, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are all struggling to like. It's always
You fucking saw guru on Instagram feeling like lonely and shit. Like, I'm not good enough. Look at this guru. It's better than
yeah,
this guru has a Ferrari, bro.
yeah. But yeah, I one of my like reflections this past few weeks was like that feeling of being present. I'm so new to it. Like it feels good, and I'm
Can you
starting
speak up a
to.
little bit, Carlito?
Okay, sorry.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry.
Started
Yeah,
trail off.
recently, my last reflections was more about trying to feel yourself, man. Or and you did good there, man. Which I rarely did to myself for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
So like, oh my God, you did that. Oh my God, I can't believe you still did that. And you play it back on your head, like torturing yourself. It was my process before, and I've been living with that kind of foggy mind.
Foggy.
That's why I told you I can't believe I made it to 34.
Yeah, baby. Here we are. That's
Oh,
a
God,
7.
man.
34, big
Yeah,
7 year. That's a God
yeah.
year. That's alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, man. We talked about
Oh,
that a little
yeah.
yesterday. Like you were sharing that like it's been a long journey as far as just like feeling okay sometimes and even to the point where like not only just feeling okay, like you said, patting yourself on the back and really loving yourself,
Yeah,
like giving
yeah.
yourself credit or like love for who you are and what you've been through.
Yeah,
And
dude.
when you
Yeah.
told me that, I'm like, man, that's something like all of us any day. It's like I mean, you hear it's cliche now, self-love, love yourself first. Da, 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 da. And again, easier said than done. But it is really powerful to really just be soft on yourself and give yourself that love because you deserve it. You know, you whoever you are, whatever you've been through, you
Yeah.
deserve that. And then from there, you
For
obviously.
example, like we've been here.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. We've been hearing about this kind of like love yourself for the past 20, 30 years, and since forever. But it only made sense to me on my 30s. You get it? It's been there
Right.
forever. That quote, right? But it only made sense to me in my early 30s.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All right, let's shift
Also,
over.
perfect.
This is kind of related to objectivity, but I'm gonna bring up this thing. This is so I had
Need me, dude.
when we started with the noble attempt, or we started talking about it a lot, I said, man, Carl, you got to hop on. We got to do an interview. And he's kind of shy, like, nah, not me.
Because I always work behind the camera, dude.
But I said, nah, but we got to do it. So it's been a while, but I got him. I got you. So one thing I really found interesting. So I came downstairs in the kitchen and Carl was saying some ignorant shit. He was just saying, he's flipping around the N-word, right? And like, I'm not the one to be like, I don't think it's my role to be fully like what's right or wrong and who can use that word and who can't. That's not my role. But I do know, like, for me, it's more of like, so I checked him on it. I called him on it. And I said, look, bro, that's just corny. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. I wasn't going to go too far with it, but I just let it know that it kind of makes me uncomfortable with throwing the N-word around. And I just found it corny, and I reflected on it later.
I did feel bad right away after I said that.
I wasn't necessarily trying to make you feel bad, but the best thing about that to me was that later the same day, Carl comes up to me, internet connection unstable. Carl comes up to me and he says, man, I thought about earlier, let's do the talk. Let's do the noble attempt. I'm like, oh, like he said, that's something to dive into. And I thought that was like really like, I found that to be very bold and like objective of like someone who can receive criticism. Because a lot of us, including me, when someone criticizes me, I turn to a little kid. I'm like, no, leave me alone. I'm right. Carl took it and with grace. And then not only that, he's like, let's dive further into it. There's something to learn for us here. And I thought that was really interesting. And so I reflected on it more and just realized, like, I'm not the one to sit here and say who can and can't use words, especially when it don't really apply to me as a person because of my pigment. That's not my role. But as a friend, I feel like, look, bro, like I, as a friend, would like call you out on that because I think it's corny. You know what I mean? It's just not what needs to be coming out your mouth. Anyways, so then I mean, I'll pass it to you. You came up to me, like, let's talk about racism. You know, let's talk about that, because in the Philippines,
Are we talking about Philippines? It's better if you talk about the Philippine.
I like to. I think it's
Settings.
interesting. It's really, I mean, you can talk about it worldwide or here, but here it's really got a lot of levels as well. You know,
Okay.
so I guess
But I
I'm
can
curious. Yeah,
only
your perspective is
yeah.
unique, being that you're from here and you have your own experiences. So yeah, we could dive in.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So about the N word, yeah, of course, it's a very derogatory word, but we did at some point got accustomed to that term once at some point in our lives, and it felt like it was just a phrase from a song or a line from a movie, but there's really power in that we're not aware of, and you did feel that, right?
Mm.
So yeah, right away there's instant like you did something wrong, dude. So by accepting that, I was able to like, okay, I'm gonna learn, and I did talk to you.
Yeah,
And apparently, yeah, we realized that racism, especially here in the Philippines, was already ingrained since we were kids.
yeah,
And we were okay. This Filipino setting, this is how racism kind of how it felt here in their country. Well, you cannot. First of all, there's this whitening products all over the country for tan people. Still there, always will be, I think. But yeah, that point we already have this mentality of like being this color or darker is already like makes gonna make you look like you have nothing or whatever or bad or just from the like one of the marginalized people kasi, diba?
right.
Especially the farmers and all that. They were and we were they have this our parents are weird like they would sometimes tell us to don't go out and play too much because you're gonna go like turn black or dark
Mm-mm.
or maybe like a joke in a regular Filipino household like you put uh, like you drizzle your nose with some water so it would like go like yeah like that like a plant which
Yeah,
you get that bridge and we did live around that without even feeling alam mo yun, it's bad because our parents are doing it to us
yeah.
and
That's
we started living our life unconsciously that this kind of uh, ideas are ingrained in us and we are not so conscious about it
your kids.
yeah at
Yeah.
least that so yeah the N word was totally I don't know about that but I think it's been I still hear it around the Filipino setting without even like
I mean, I know what it is, and that's the thing. That's why I'm like, it's not my
yeah.
jurisdiction to
Mm,
say it. It's like a preference thing, regardless of. I mean, I personally think it's just not useful
it's
for
not
non-black folks. But
yeah
if you ask 10 different people, well, what's your opinion? I don't know, bro. You ask 10 different black folks, they're gonna tell you 10 different answers. Like you got a
mm.
Cambodian dude in the hood throwing the word down, like it's his and this and that. Everyone's different with it, so like I just leave that alone. But the
I think
whitening thing,
also
interesting.
I think also because the racism is not being addressed like really at all here in the Philippines. It's not.
Yeah,
Ah,
very
no one
small
talks
amount of
about it. No
consciousness
one talks
behind
about
that.
it. But you hear it a lot, but you don't talk about it.
I mean, the first time I came to this country and I hopped on a bus and I heard the
Like,
radio commercial and it's like dark armpits, use this whitening thing. Like armpits, motherfuckers is really worried about their armpits being dark. And then seeing the billboards and you got these like really pasty white models who don't look like Filipinas. And I start to see, damn, this is heavy. That was the first time I really was exposed to that level of like hate, that colonial
mm,
pressure on people to be something they're not. And especially to strive to be whiter because that makes you
mm,
more successful or more beautiful or this and that. And I was like, damn. And then come to find out they do it in Jamaica, India, all over. I've seen it in Cambodia and Thailand. It's like it's a normal thing. And so here you go to the store and look for some soap. They got 30 different options of soap. I'd be there for like 20 minutes and they're all
Yeah.
whitening. They're all, every single one of them is like plus white, you know, whiten up and this and that. And I'll see these beautiful brown women come in the store, look at the soap, grab this whitening soap. And I'm like, oh, baby, like, and you think from the time she was a little baby kid, she was being put powder on her face or told that she wasn't good enough because she was brown.
Yeah.
And meanwhile,
But
white girls in the States is torturing themselves in tanning booths trying to get more right. It's just like, oh, that shit's crazy, man.
Interesting though.
You got any more observations of like that? Because I mean, the Philippines is a wonderful place, a beautiful place. Culturally, it's a mashup. It's just like this undefinable place that creates these really, I mean, I've met a lot of wonderful people here, and there is this heavy colonial influence, which obviously on the surface is bad, but at the same time, you're like, okay, it creates this culture that is undeniable. So it's not all bad necessarily. Do you have any other observations growing up as a, you know, in the Philippines of like effects of colonialism, good or bad?
Well, if the thing is when, for example, my when I reached 30, that's when I started being like more vocal or more conscious about it. Like, oh wait. Let me stop that. Let me go back to the question. Colonialism and how it's still affecting me, or right now, how did it affect me?
Could be personal. Yeah.
I don't. It's so hard to see it when it's all around you, or you see it all around you ever since, and we learn to live with it. That's the thing. No one defended us from that. So no one told us, "Hey man, it's okay to be brown." No, we didn't hear it from our parents. We didn't hear it from anyone. So, and then these commercials and all this,
right? All the stars,
just to prove their point more. They pound it in more.
Yeah.
So yeah, the least we can do is be conscious about it and know that you can always, rehabilitate yourself or, fix yourself, because knowing is half the battle first, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about that, I think it's interesting of like, well, I don't know, there's a concept of like, if you notice something in yourself that you want to change, one way to go about it is to walk the opposite direction energetically. Like, right. So if I'm like, I find myself holding on to control and I want to control everything, a way that you might find a balance is to go the complete opposite direction and soften and just let go of control and let things come and be softer with that. And that might land because you were so far over here with your control. Even if you walk all the way in the opposite direction, it might just put you in a more balanced spot. You know what I'm saying? So I think what I've noticed as far as the colonial thing is like, once you start observing the effects that it has personally, like you'll see, like even the need to control, I would say is like something I notice in me. Like that's a colonial, straight up like colonial introduction of like, I need to control things and I need to be right. And like what I say is right, and the self-righteous thing. And so when I see that in me, it's like, okay, then I go the opposite direction. What's that? Like objectivity, softening, listening to other people, seeking harmony, these type of things. And I think that's really like a way that we deconstruct this colonial thing. It's really hurting everybody. It's like people identify where it is in themselves and then do things that go in the opposite direction. And it can be as simple as like harmonious relationships where it's not about control or status or whatever. I don't know. There's just one little example, but it goes deep. It goes deep for sure.
It also, I remember what you're saying, that you want to go in the opposite direction of, that thing. So to balance it out. But I think sometimes to me, I did that before. And sometimes to me, it interprets like, at first it felt like I was running away from it.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't, right?
Yeah, I feel you. Maybe then another way is
it's more about understanding it rather than being the opposite of it.
Sure.
That's for me at least.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you looked at it as like a full circle,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Instead of going counterclockwise to get away from it, you could just move through it and then you'd
Yeah.
still end up in that balanced place because it's a 360. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But that's just my process, though. Yeah. That's the beauty of it. We all have different processes.
yeah, I feel what you're saying.
It's hard to calculate or quantify because experience is never like hard
Yeah,
to quantify.
that's that intangible.
Maybe
Man,
that's what spirituality gives us.
let's go. Remember we talked about we said we want to touch on a topic. It kind of relates to that quantifiable thing, like failure. We brought up failure and like
wait.
mm,
Oh, yes. Your internet is okay? Hello?
yeah, I think it's cool.
Okay. Okay, go.
So yeah,
Sorry, continue.
so we talk about failure as a beneficial thing, but it's something that most of us as humans avoid, right? It's a thing like no one wants to fail necessarily, but you will, especially if you're doing anything that takes you out of your comfort zone or trying new things. There will be failures, whether they're small or big. And so I guess let's talk about it on a personal level. Like, what's your relationship with failure? And
the more you avoid failure, the more you're like stunting your growth.
yeah,
Just like we discussed, it feels like we are creating this shell of ideas around ourselves to maybe somehow to protect ourselves from maybe feeling pain, feeling loneliness. So I think that's it. Parang, wait, sorry, Ro.
now you're trying to avoid it, bro. I'm talking about failure for you, straight up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I did try to avoid it failing, and then I realized that it's just my ego that's hurting, and I wanted to learn. I cannot move on from that failure, so you gotta let yourself be comfortable with failing
yeah,
at some point in your life, so you can start, improving.
yeah.
We can't always like hide ourselves from our normal like bubble. It's hard because the world is gonna change, and you have to change with it. You gotta update your shell.
Update yourself.
Yeah, or your shell, whatever. Yeah, or
Sure. Yeah, we talked about like
we still have these tools to protect ourselves, right? We still
sure,
have
which
our
is
own.
I think having a few tools to keep yourself solid is fine, but I think what you said
Yes,
about like at some point your shell will lock you in.
it
You
will.
know what
It
I
will
mean? If you
definitely
get
lock you
stuck in
in.
that, and failure or trying at least is like such an extreme vulnerability. You're like, I'm gonna open my shell and then go through
Yes,
whatever may be. Maybe you win, maybe you succeed, but maybe you fail. And that's the risk you take, which is like, that's life, that's living. And then you
yes,
might realize that shell you just broke out of no longer fits you, right?
yes.
Then I might
Right.
build another shell and then push that again and break out of it and stay fresh. You know what I mean? And stay
Yes,
fresh
that's right.
and try. But it's again easier
Amazing,
said than
no? That
done,
this
man.
kind of yeah looks very simple, no? Pero yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. So wait, I'm gonna do a icebreaker.
And yeah,
Drums. Can you hear it?
barely.
Okay.
Um,
Oh wait. Let me. I know I lost the thought again. Sorry.
okay.
It's this foggy brain. We can
What?
edit it, naman, diba? We can edit this.
We're not adding nothing, bro. We're going raw dog. Noble attempt. We love our truth
Oh
and
my
honesty,
god.
man. We're going raw.
Yeah.
Show the
Yes,
process.
the failure process. Failure is part of the process.
Yeah, it
If you
is.
skip the failure, you're not doing the process.
Fact. Okay, moving right on. We talk about, so that led us to like shedding layers, right? Shedding layers, becoming anew. What does that look like with identity? Like you have an identity, right? And for good or bad, like you have traits that are within you, you have experiences that built you, and you have an
Right.
identity. And I don't think it's just like
Right.
only ego. Like that's something real, and that's how we navigate the
Okay.
physical. That's how we share with each other and connect with each
Yes,
other.
yes, 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 yes.
Where's the line between like I have an identity, but I also shed layers and freshen myself up. Like, you hear what I'm saying? Like, how do we keep our identity without holding on to the ego aspect of it, and like allow for change and be formless, but still being like at home? You know what I mean? Does that make
I
sense?
think I think the secret to it, for me at least, the secret to it is to not think about it.
Speak up, speak up.
I
That's the
think the
secret,
secret.
baby. You try to hide the secret.
Yeah. I think it's only my secret. Like, but I'm gonna like say it. But I think the secret to it is not think about it.
Not at all.
Don't think about that too much. I think sometimes we get really confused with a lot of stuff. But yourself, whatever you do, it's still you.
Yeah.
I can see the Rome even if you're wearing a suit or wearing like, I don't know, like just
Right.
shorts. It's still Rome. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid that it's changing you.
Ah, man, that's big time, bro. Because I've noticed that through my life, man. I'll be having
No, man.
shifts, and I might be in a new outfit, right? It might, and the something that I think is so crucial is to let, like you say, yeah, don't overthink it and let go of what you think you're supposed to be. Because when you think you're supposed to be something, then that's what you're gonna be, and you might stay stuck there. But when you're open to like, shit, life might bring me to wear a suit or do this or that,
you're gonna
whatever
be
it is,
wrong.
it's fun. And you
It
can
is
look
still
at it, you
you.
can laugh at it, you can enjoy it,
Yes.
you could play dress up
Yes.
and have, you know what I mean, and just be free.
Yes.
And I think you're right, man. Not overthinking that lets you flow into these different roles on the planet,
Yes.
and you can be more authentic. Like whatever you're supposed to be, you'll get the tools you need. You'll meet the people you need to meet. Like the universe will create you for that
It will.
purpose. And I'm like, that's when I'm learning to just like let go and just go down the stream. You know what I mean? And just let it be and kind of entertaining. I'm gonna just watch.
Although I noticed with your questions, Nana, there's always this when do you know or how do you stop if I always like notice that but I think that's a product of overthinking.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what's the answer? What's the answer?
Yes.
I need to
I mean,
know.
you can do 10 episodes of this, man, but no one's gonna give you like this is the
Fact.
no.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I would like to see if you could come up with an answer. That's what I'm going for. Like you as a person, you're gonna bring.
But yes, but it is true. But you know what also defines you? What defines you is what kind of where do you put your energy in? So now you're doing the noble attempt. That's your journey right now, and it's what Rome is in right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to just.
You're on your way, dude. You're just overthinking, but you are. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Ako din, that was also my problem. Like, how can I like? Everyone's looking for peace, enlightenment, but everyone's looking at one direction. It's to go up there, the mountains, find peace, whatever, under the tree. But you can find it also then, man, just in simple things. Like for example, me, I didn't understand what Zen is until I keep reading, but it still has no bearing because it's all theoretical for me, no personal experience. But when I saw a lady that performed a tea ceremony, and it was so calming, I almost cried. And why am I crying? And then I told myself that I'm not used to that kind of peace and calm. Maybe that's why I cried. Because I received it from this lady who's just giving us like a presentation of tea ceremony, showing us that, and she gave me peace. And it did break me because I am new to that. Parang it's a kind of unusual feeling. And when it broke me, I started inquiring into it.
Yeah.
That's how you started. If it hurts, it's probably there's an issue there that we're afraid to look into.
Yeah, I remember I had a friend, he always said, you can't undrink the water. Like once you taste that water,
yeah,
you're going to seek it. You know what I mean? So when you feel that level of peace, wherever it came from, whenever it strikes you, at least for me, I've always noticed that like that's like gives me like a kind of like a feeling to move towards. I'm not gonna overthink, like I gotta find it. But when you feel, once you're aware that there's some other feeling, all of a sudden that becomes part of your experience. So like, oh, I'll invite that. You know what I mean? I'll bring that level of peace to myself, because it does feel very peaceful to be at peace. And this shit comes and goes from my experience so far, but I know work on like stretching that peace out if we can, and you know, trying to at least just marinate in it a little bit.
Yeah. Galing, no? Like, just talking about it is it's like therapy, diba?
Peace, man.
I'm glad we had even the time to talk about it, because we rarely do it.
Stop lying, bro. We do. We talk about this shit like every day.
No, I mean, if you're not here, I'm back to my regular life.
Yeah.
Regular programming. We don't have that chance because overload.
That's what we're doing here, man. We're trying to open up a little, at least open up a little window where we can get in and feel some things, talk about some things. I was curious. We talked about like creative projects, and it kind of relates to failure and identity, but about how you can like create something. You referred it like as parenting. You brought it like having a project. Like you guide it, but you also let it be what it is. I forgot the exact words. You remember what I'm talking about?
The project.
Yeah, like when you have a project and you have like wishes for it. But you know, but it's not all in your control. You know what I mean?
Sometimes, kasi we think, I don't know, there was a point in my life where, of course, I did want to take control of everything.
Yeah.
But what that did to me was when everything around me like goes out of my, like, the way I want it to be, goes against what I want it to be. I cannot think anymore. I mean, bakit baby? Sorry, that's what she was saying. Yeah, I cannot move on. The creative process just stops. And because of my resistance for making it what it could be. But also for example, this video projects, you can edit it as long as you want to. But it's all about you being content about your content.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, as long as you're enjoying it, fine. But there is a level where you're just like touching it more and putting more. It's gonna get better because you spent more time on it. It's like, don't work like that.
It's a normal reaction, dude, because you're creating and you wanna just.
It's your baby.
That's fine, but maybe also maybe this is relatable not to your question. When do you know when to stop?
Yeah, I mean, I think every artist be having that question, like what, or like curious about other artists' process, because that is like one of the, to me, a big part of creating something. There gotta be a time where you stop, because then it becomes a thing. You know what I mean? A lot of us keep stuff and for too long, and it might just lose momentum and fall away and never even become a thing. You know what I mean? That knowing when to stop that's an art.
Yeah, and we always want to show like only like the best ones we had. They don't want to like hear about your failures or whatever. Those are.
I think that's a preference thing. That because I know some people like that to the extreme. Like they're not showing it until it's at the most godly level of all. I've always been a little more like, I'm gonna put this song on SoundCloud, even though I know the mix is trash, but I like it and I had fun doing it. I'm gonna share it. I don't want to hold that back, and then that makes me space to move on. I'm not attached to that anymore. So that's always been my thing, and I think that's what I strive for with this. Is like, man, already this is episode 3. I've learned a shit ton about this, like the dynamic and trying to stay real and comfortable, but also have something wonderful to share and whatever it is. It's a lot of let go involved. But I like the idea that it's gonna be raw, and I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it. Whoever's out there watching, we're gonna share it with you, bro. The whole process, when it's awkward, when it's ugly, when it's funny, but whatever, it's all for you. I like that. That's me though. Everyone's different. I know some people there's like they want to protect
But
it.
of course, I understand them, man. Because you have to guide the energy in this like your show. It has to have a pointed direction.
Yeah,
Not just
maybe.
yeah.
I'll be
At some
wondering.
point, it will happen because you're directing the show.
Yeah.
It will definitely get to where it should be.
Okay. This is the last thing we're gonna do. This is the segment of the Noble Attempt called Tips to Keep the Dream Alive. So I'm gonna ask Karlito, what is your tip to keep the dream alive, whatever that may be for you?
To keep the dream alive. What dream? Joke. Sorry, what? I don't have dreams. Yeah, just kidding.
Come
To
on.
keep the dream alive. I'd rather that keep the dream alive. Oh my God, that's quite a difficult question, huh? Oh, okay, okay. You keep the dream alive by trying to focus your energy on that dream, even like incrementally, little by little, so that even if you don't finish it in the right time, your heart's still going in that direction. Like you don't let it die out. I mean, you love music ever since, right? But you do a lot of different arts, but you're still attached to music.
Mm.
So we all have our own inclination or a gravity towards something. But to keep our dream alive, dude, we have to work on it. Really, there's footwork.
Yeah,
I
baby.
believe in that. I believe in that. We can always like stare at the sky, and there's should footwork.
Fact.
Just like love, dude. Love is a verb, dude.
Gotta
It's a
do it.
doing word.
Sure.
Gotta do it.
Yeah. And when I say dream, I'll just let it be known. Like I see dreams as reality. Like I see like our reality is a dream and not everyone's living it, but we can. You know what I'm saying? So what you said, like the footwork is real because that dream could be your love, your craft, your whatever it is. And I think I'm really grateful for that. Work on it. That's the simplest way to put it. If you keep your dream alive by working on it, and that's a fact, it takes, adapting.
Because sometimes, late bloomers, like you reach 30s and then you realize, I love this, diba?
Sure.
And because maybe they didn't have the chance to like work on it, but they just discovered it. That dream, they just started.
Sure. Yeah.
Diba? Some people start on their 30s.
I mean, you doing illustrations, that wasn't your thing before, but I like the way you draw. Your drawings are fire. You know what I mean? And you're doing these paintings and illustrations, and I could tell it feeds you, like spiritually, like it nourishes you. So I think that is cool, like to be open to like receiving, something that brings you joy, and then just diving into it without maybe having too much expectations. But like I'm gonna do it because it makes me happy right now. Whether or not you're gonna fully dive into it, that's a whole nother thing. But I think I appreciate when people is like
most important tip is make friends with failure.
Back to the failure. Yeah.
Yeah. Make friends with it, man. Like, hey, it's a normal thing.
Sure.
Right. Just have to shift your perspective a little bit.
Yeah, like diminish it a little bit. Don't give it so much power. Yeah.
Dude, I would fail many times as long as I can. As long as I get there.
Yeah, keep on pushing.
Yeah.
All right, Karlito.
Don't deprive yourself of failing, man. It's important.
Yeah.
Diba? Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. I'm about to come over there and give you a hug. Another room. Love you, bro. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
Peace. Crazy how it goes. I recently met the brother who welcomed me to his home. Generosity was shown and kindness was equally evident as his pain. He shared that he lost his father and his siblings on the same day. A plane crash, tragic real life drama. Next few years Watch cancer take out his mama house, emptied of soul, but got plenty of beds. Still struggling to cope, feel the dope in the head. Ran into her sister, hadn't seen for a minute. She told me that she had some news. I'm like, cool, let me listen. It got deep, quick, cause the moment I faced her, she dove her head into my chest, and she told me they raped her. Now I ain't asked who, what, who cares, where, why. I just held her real close, so close as she cried. Seems nobody is leaving without at least a few scars. It's like the recipe for empathy is bruising the heart, confusing at times. If I told you I knew, I'd be lying. All I know is there's no limit what I do for my tribe. So I don't sweat genetics or a family tree. Yeah, if you got a belly button, then you family to me. Yeah, home is where the heart, mind grow into one. Give thanks for your home in the hood that you from. Your hood's in the city, your city's in a province or state. Your state's probably in a country that some borders create. Your country's on a continent, but at the end of the day, it's just some land on a planet we decided to claim. So no matter what happens between now and your birth, always remember it's your right to feel at home on this earth. Peace to the mothers, the brothers, the sufferers, sisters, the fathers, the students and the hustlers, the gangsters, the goons, and even the politicians. There's a baby underneath it all just crying for attention. So before you pass judgment on another's affairs, take a look into the mirror, cause we all running scared. We all need a hug, we all could use a break from our minds to know that it's fine and shine, cause we all one divine.